Oh my god. Internet. It's episode number 50 of Brothering Around. And we have the Three Musketeers. Not quite the Four Horsemen, but the Three Musketeers here to treat you with a huge episode. A milestone episode. In more ways than one. But I'm your host, Mr. Wes Gardner. And joining me, of course, the other true OG brother himself, Mr. Marco Flores.
What up, guys?
the huge bow.
Yeah, the Hunter Hearst bow.
The Jean-Pierre, what was his name back in the day?
The Blue Blood. Yeah, Jean-Pierre.
Terrorizing.
Terrorizing, yeah. That guy.
Oh, yeah, we got Mr. Nerd the Bay himself. And then we, of course, have Mr. Todd EVF.
Oh, he's doing vape tricks.
The dank
What's going
smoke.
on?
You got the pyro.
We're
that's Batista pyro that you got going on in there.
I'm going to decide that my cam doesn't need to refocus, which is terrific.
You're a man of mystery. And if you're not watching the video archive, you should be. And that brings us to our first major point of the video. Is we are now on yet another podcast network. And one that you can only find on Twitch. Twitch.tv. What is it? /Precipice Podcast? Is that correct?
Yes. Twitch.tv/Precipice Podcast.
There it is. So we are part of, founding. We're part of the movement. I feel that energy, that same energy that I felt about whenever the Beardcast started. The same energy whenever Marco and I started Power Hour. That same thing is coming together again, and it's part of the Precipice Podcast Network. And I'm stoked about that.
Awesome.
It's real cool. So yeah, Todd, go into a little bit about what the Precipice Podcast Network is and kind of.
Okay, well, put me on the spot. So basically, the Precipice Podcast Network is something I've been trying to do for quite some time now. I'm trying to get my cam back up because, vape tricks and such,
Yeah.
And apparently it wanted to put autofocus on, which, fuck you, autofocus. And I can't make adjustments in Skype, so I have to bring up my own OBS to do so.
Oh, yep.
That'll do it.
There we go.
Beautiful.
So the Precipice Podcast Network is something I've been wanting to do for quite some time. Back when I started doing podcasts, I was doing two shows. I was doing Pod Errors. I was doing Gimmick Bag. And these aren't the versions you're hearing now. These are the classic versions. I mean, unless you listened to the last episode of Gimmick Bag, and that was a classic episode I repackaged because Maury was unavailable. So, real life gets in the way.
Yeah.
So the original Pod Errors and Gimmick Bag were like kind of the foundation of this shared universe, so to speak, of podcasts. And I was just like, you know what? Now that I'm doing podcasts again, I might as well bring this whole concept back. And, we started with Gimmick Bag, and that was cool. And, obviously then got invited on to be fourth chair here because I always put Maury in front of me. That's just the way it is. I got to, just proper.
It is what it is. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like on Gimmick Bag. It's Gimmick Bag with Maury and Todd. I can't just be like, oh hey, let me do that. So But, at that point, I was just like, oh, okay, well, I really enjoy doing podcasts. Maybe it's time to kind of start branching out, doing some more different podcasts, that kind of stuff, and start up the network like I wanted to do initially.
Yeah.
And one thing led to another, and next thing you know, I'm sitting here every week, or just about every week with you guys and having a great time. I ended up getting the Pod Errors crew back together, which was terrific. And we just dropped our first episode of the revival of that, which was pretty good. A lot cleaner than the initial one, trust me. We initially we had it was supposed to be 3, and we had 4 people on the show instead. We had somebody sit in on that first episode because they sat in that first episode. They thought they were part of the show.
Nice.
So every week it was just like, and not to speak ill, but when they have an idea, they have to say it, no matter who's speaking. So, and they will kind of talk louder than everybody else as well. So it's like drowns you out, and it's like, you have good points, but come on, just kind of hold back.
There's a rapport that has to be followed.
Exactly.
So to speak.
So when the whole YouTube thing happened, the mass exodus, as I'm referring to it as, I decided, you know what, I'll set up a new Twitch channel. I'll do it for the Precipice Podcast Network, put all the video archives there. Something cool. It's going to be great to do. And then one thing led to another, and I was like, you know what, it'd be kind of interesting to see if Brothering Around would want to be featured on there as well. Yeah. And before I could even ask, it's just like, well, you got that Twitch channel. How about? I'm like, all right.
Well, because we had such a good conversation on, what was it? It was episode 48, 49, about the YouTube craziness. It's called like YouTube Small Creator Purge or something is the title.
46 or 47, I want to say.
Whenever that news broke, it was another adpocalypse, but this time it was even different. It was a brand new just rule on getting in to be able to make money. Not even like we're going to pull your ads, but like you won't get any ads until you meet this threshold.
We're the features, which is another thing.
Yeah. Oh, right. And you get the stuff that you already had, they were taking away. And, even after we got done recording, I remember that I think that was the episode where we still talked for like an hour after we hit stop. Mm-hmm. And we're like, okay, because Marco had, you have the best outlook on it. And you're like, they could take it away, but I'm going to earn that shit back. Like, you immediately were like, I'm going to fight, man. Like, they'll take it, sure, but we'll get it back. And, like, you're flying through the races now, man. Yeah. Like, you're past 300 subscribers. You have gained those more quickly, more actively than I've gained my last, like, 15 subscriber. Like, you are, like, on a level of trajectory that is absurd. And so you were absolutely right. Your mentality paid off. And mine was kind of in the middle. Todd, you were more of I'm going to jump ship and let's just do this Twitch shit. Let's just go whole hog.
I mean, it's a platform
Twitch.
I know.
Exactly. And it's rewarded you and it's treated you kindly and it's given you good network opportunities. So I get it. And here I am in the middle. And I'm like, which one do I want to do? But the whole shift of, we really love Brothering Around being a video podcast, and if you listen on audio, we appreciate it. Yeah. But I do think the show now has evolved into a more video focused thing. Right. So it's like, God, do I want to upload all this stuff to my Comedy to Hobo channel? And that doesn't really make sense because on Twitch, I don't upload stuff to my Twitch channel. Like, I just go live. That's the whole point for me for Twitch. So the best of kind of all worlds is, okay, Todd is setting up the foundations right now of something that could turn into
which is funny because, like, I looked around Twitch and you would see people recording podcasts on Twitch, but you never saw, like, a channel that was just podcasts. Yeah. And I was just like, it makes they've given us all these wonderful community guidelines that allow us to do this. And why is nobody else taking advantage of this? Yeah. So,
and I think that's a very smart thing because as we talk about on past episodes, whenever you're a creator, you have to use the tools that you're given in a way that may not be the way everyone else is using it. Right? Sure. Like, you look at it and you're like, well, there's a lot of Let's Plays. But what could you do a little different than a Let's Play? And that's where Power Hour came up. Yeah. And, you start thinking about, okay, I see what the main idea is, and this is what's really popular. But, whatever's popular is going to change. People's tastes are going to change or whatever. So what's a dynamic that you can spin it to make it yours? That way it's your, never add emptiness to the big crowd. Like, never just add noise for the sake of adding noise to, whatever you're doing. Carve out your little spot and be like, I do this. This is my thing.
Plant your little flag and say, this is me now. This is where we're at. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So-
And that way it's your original idea that could have come from something else,
Yeah.
but you've adapted it and you've created it. And yeah, looking at it, it's like, why aren't more places?
Exactly. And I mean,
Doing-
that was the biggest thing. Like, why? And I mean, it gives opportunity to do things that we normally wouldn't do on podcasts as well. You know, we did the live reaction to Takeover and Rumble.
Yeah,
I mean, we wouldn't have done that on a podcast.
for sure.
It's highlighted. You can watch it. I mean, that's a thing. But
Yeah. And what's interesting also is whenever you're approaching it, because whenever Todd and I spoke about it, it's like you're actually approaching it from a network perspective.
yeah,
So
Right.
like every Tuesday, the new episode of blah blah blah. Like
Yeah.
it's like you're
Sure.
watching syndicated television, and that
Right.
makes complete sense
Yeah.
because that the consistency in quality and the consistency in consistency is what drives. You go look at those how to get more popular on YouTube or how to get more popular on whatever. And the number one thing people will say is be consistent.
yeah.
Stick to a schedule, even if it's once a week. Do it at that same time. People know to expect it. They're going to set their DVRs. They're going to do that mentality of, oh, I got to favorite the new Netflix show, or I got to add it to my list, or I got to
Add it to the watch list. Yep.
add it to the watch. So that it's
Oh, they just
exactly right.
announced this. Let me throw it on there. Yeah, I mean, it's just,
Yes, I go. I have to now. Yeah, so you get that mentality, but for that demographic, and yeah, I think having a dedicated podcast network it's the thing. Like I was like, makes complete sense to me. And it sounds bad, and it was funny because my wife and I were kind of talking about this type of thing before I started recording. Is I was like, whenever you do a thing one time, you don't realize until afterwards how much work it is. So
Yeah.
then the next time that opportunity comes up, you're way less likely to do it. So my example was I remember putting boots to the asses on Nitro Beard.
Yeah.
Trying to get the beard cast up, and then the jump cast started, and then free to play started its thing, and then there was like 3 or 4 other things, and there was so I was trying to wrangle all these cats. Like, well, this show does
Yeah.
this, and this show means this, and that show does here. And then I thought about it, and I was like, a podcast network. And then I had like that PTSD of like, oh! And like my mind freaked out. And I was like, thank God Todd's doing it, because good Lord, I ain't doing that shit. Like, God bless.
and I mean,
Yeah.
Oh,
and I know we've discussed it when we're not recording, but basically all the creators can upload their stuff to all the creators that are part of the
Which
Precipice
is a
Podcast
great
Network
way
can
to do
upload their own stuff to the network, which
great
I
way to
think
do it.
is, which I mean, it takes a little work off of me because somebody doesn't have to send something to me and then I have to upload it.
edit
It's
it,
just,
make it metadata
yeah,
work. And
it's
all
just
that
like
shit. Yeah.
whenever you're ready, just kind of throw it on there.
Just
you
whenever
know,
it's just pushing
set
on
a
over, yeah.
time. Just
Yeah.
don't set like noon on like any day because
Yeah.
those are like
Yeah.
podcast times.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but like noon just feels great because like on the East Coast it's midday,
Yes.
West Coast it's still morning drive. So
Yeah,
it's like,
so it's like right on the
Yeah.
money. Yeah.
and a lot of times like we have and I get the feeling on here a lot, and I mean with the chemistry between me and Maury, I get it as well. Morning drive show, like that's
Yeah.
that's the
Oh,
vibe
yeah.
I get.
Yeah.
I mean,
when I
it's the
listen.
wacky horn.
Like, what's
Uh,
better than a slide whistle? Like a good slide whistle.
Oh,
It's
God.
it's the funniest thing, or yeah, like a clown horn. It's the funniest noise in the world.
Yeah.
It really
I
is.
mean-
You go like, and like, no matter what situation, it fits because it never fits anywhere.
There
Like-
is a Twitch clip on my main channel, which is this is a serious stream. I think that's the title of it, and it's another streamer I know, Jess X, used to be Soupy Twist, all the other stuff, and he used to be an Xbox streamer, so he couldn't use alerts, so he had to be creative. So he got himself a slide whistle, and he would play the slide whistle whenever he got a
Yeah.
follow.
It's so good.
That's cool.
And so it's just like it's just like this, titles the clip. This is a serious stream, and it's like it was me and another streamer. I think we were playing GTA,
Yeah.
and and somebody followed. It's just like, and he's just like, welcome, plays the slide whistle. We fucking die.
Oh my
And it was
God.
fucking great.
Oh, man. That's
terrific.
awesome. DIY.
But once again, it's taken to create like, there's notifications and all that stuff.
Exactly.
But like, you know what? I can't do it that same way, so let me play a fucking slide whistle. Like, that's your thing now,
And I mean, it was absolutely terrific. But
it's so good.
it's you work with what you have.
Yes.
And I mean, what we have is you guys. Well, technically, we all have YouTube. We all have Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes. Fucking, there's probably other ones as well. Farmers Only, Christian Mingle. I'm still setting that up.
Plenty of Fish. Yeah, all those.
Yeah. Oh, we're regular. I already got a Plenty of Fish. It's not for the podcast though. But yeah, I just felt that it would be the best thing to try to get not only good shows, but also people I enjoy either hanging out with or listening to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, eventually I would like to have, because right now on all three shows, I am a part of all three shows.
Right. So it's not new to you.
Yeah, it's not new to me. It's just like, oh, what's this? And it's Wednesday. It's like, no, this is Saturday. And it's like, well, it feels like Wednesday to me. So it's like, oh, Gimmick Bag, that's Thursday. I mean, that's just the way it is. And I would love to have more content on the channel in its entirety. And I mean, helping people set up their RSS and all the other stuff. Because believe it or not, if you guys have not set up an RSS feed using certain things like Amazon, it seems way more complicated than it actually is. I mean, I would love for it to be a little bit more streamlined personally, but you work with what you got. I mean, it's like pennies on the dollar for storage. So
yeah, exactly. Like Marco and I have been talking about it too, and like, whenever you explain it step by step, there's like 30 steps.
Yeah,
but they're all easy. It's just you have to do one before you do the other, because this step is going to ask for that stuff, and then this is going to be that, and like, so you got to tell it all what to talk to. But yeah, I mean, after you get it going, even with a popular podcast, if you do it right, you're only going to spend like $1 a month, $1, $2 a month. I mean, it's not super. But if you go somewhere like that will set all of that stuff up for you, these RSS feeds and stuff, you go to Podbean, you go to
Libsyn.
Libsyn is one of the, I think it's the biggest podcast hoster on the planet. But that shit's expensive, man. That's like $20-$30 a month. And that's if you get a pretty good deal, and you're like,
and that's low traffic too.
Yeah. And that is, once you get higher traffic, they start nickel and diming you. And I don't know about all that. I mean, how serious do you want to take it? Like, if that was your main hobby and you were trying to become the next like NPR, go for it. But like for what we do, and for, it's for adult human beings, and we all have shit going on in our lives. So there has to be sometimes we got to be like, hey man, can't do it this week. Hey, we'll just roll it over and think about what you need. You know what I mean? And like, I never wanted, and I think all of us are this way. We never want to be like, well, no, you better be here. We don't fucking make money with this. Like, no, we just do it to do it. And we love it.
I mean, like even with Maury, like when she was just like, oh well, I'm not going to be able. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able. I'm like, don't worry about it. Like,
oh no,
it's no big deal. Like,
no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're good.
And
We're good.
that's the thing is like, real life comes first. Totally.
Yeah.
Every time. So it's not realistic. Now, if we were doing so well that we were making like, each of us were making $1,000 a month just from doing this.
We quit our day jobs.
Yeah, a little different. Like, we would have a pretty arduous schedule that we would stick to and be on the money all the time, because that's the expectation.
It's the business.
Yeah, it is. Yes, exactly right. It is a business, and you're collecting a paycheck. And like, the same rules apply that if you had an 8 to 5, you better take that same ethic and bring it here. So, and to tie it back to the whole like YouTube changes and stuff, in a lot of ways, now that I've been thinking more about it, like, I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is a good thing because I can stop focusing on what people will want to watch
and do what you want to do.
Exactly. Oh, well, what are my hits going to be? What's my retention?
Right. Yeah.
But now that I've been thinking the way, like, I'm just going to make my shit, and this ties into our next topic. Dude, I've been getting way more retention. I've been getting way more, like, it's so weird to think about. Because you try to follow the crowd and try to do the Let's Plays and try to do this, and I'm going to do some of that, and I'm going to go over here, and what are they popular guys doing? I better do that. And then you're just bringing in 20, 30, 40 views at a time. And then, I'll do the stuff that I normally do. I'll do West unboxes, and it'll be goofy. And it was like 600-something views in 2 weeks. I was like, it's better than my
But then you also do videos where it's like, oh, hey, I got a new mic for the cell phone. And it's
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, because I have that shit right here. Like, and I used it all day today. But yeah, because I was like, okay, this is going to be kind of the change on what's going on. Mm-hmm. So I better show people what it is. It's free content, And I'm like, oh, I have this little phone thing. And it's funny because it comes with a big old dead cat, which I have right here, too. It's good. But yeah, so I used it today. And I mean, I'm editing that video now. But it's going to be, hey, this is a mix of, here's what this microphone that you saw in the last episode, if you're interested on how it works outside, how does it sound, like in a car with a loud music and stuff. This will give you that. Like, this will be a follow-up to be like, oh, I guess that mic does work pretty well. Yeah. But it's a whole new piece of content, and you never even need to know I have a microphone for my phone.
Yeah.
But if you watch them going from part 1 to part 2, they kind of naturally follow each other. And, yeah. And then I'm like, I'm going to order, like, a lens kit. Like, they make cell phone lenses, like, wide-angle lenses and fisheye lenses and stuff, for phones that you just, like, clip on. And I was like, I was like, shit, man, I'm going to do that. Start actually making films. Like, start making, treat it like a documentary. It's funny, on this episode I'm working on right now, I kind of hint at it. Like, I'll spoil it a little bit, but it'll say Comilog, and then the anamorphic widescreen bars fade in for the whole thing. And it's all in widescreen. It's all in 23 by 6 times 9 or whatever it is.
Nice.
For the anamorphic stuff. And I'm doing color correction. I'm doing grading. I'm doing post. I'm doing all that. Just to see what it looks like. Like, can I get cinema quality shit with my phone?
Did you give them a disclaimer saying that don't expect this shit all the time because it's a lot of work?
It's a lot of work. But, like, it's funny because there's a certain excitement about it. Like, I'm doing it, and I was like, oh, shit, this does look really good. Yeah. And, like, I'll see a shot, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, maybe if I edit that. Like, I start tweaking stuff, and I'm excited about it again instead of, like, oh, here I go. I got to do the 60 frames a second game footage and pump that right there and then put that right there and then put this over here. Like, it's a formula, and I know to stick with it. But this...
Then do my honorable mention video.
Right, like, we went through that Game of the Year shit, and you're like, oh, Game of the Year time, no. Everyone else is so excited to watch these videos, but they forget that people got to make those fucking videos, and those are hard to do.
Everybody knows that the Game of the Year is always Super Mario Brothers 2.
Super Mario Brothers. Oh, my God.
Well, except for when it was Knack.
Knack, everybody. Knack.
I've been just binge watching, like, all that shit.
Donkey
Thank you.
Donkey's one of those guys. He's one of the popular, like, Soda Papa guys. But Donkey, God bless Donkey, because that dude is hysterical.
Yeah.
I laugh at every single one of his videos. It makes me laugh. Every single one.
Here comes the money. Just fucking...
Oh, it's so good. But yeah, so going into that, whenever you start making what you want, you start putting your passion and stuff into it, you're actually starting to see more and more people kind of clip onto it. Like, oh, this is something different. This is something we haven't seen before. Let's stick around for it. And I think that's what's going to happen with the Precipice podcast. I think the whole network, it's going to be like, wait, they're doing podcasts? Like,
yeah, and I mean, right now is the perfect time to get in on the ground floor. I'm just saying. I mean, we have as of this moment that we're recording, every episode of Gimmick Bags up on there. We actually changed the video format as well, so you do get to see me. You get the wonderful weekly GIF that Maury selects.
I'm still using the Braun one because it's so good on this episode.
It is. What is it? The last one? I want to say the last episode. I used Torgo from Manos Hands of Fate. Yeah. Because we were talking, because it was like the like 25 years since the MST3K episode that they did
gosh.
Manos.
Wow.
And it was just like, yeah, I know. It makes me feel old.
That's that's a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean,
Shit.
it's just like, it's like when somebody brings up a movie and they're just like, I just saw this for the first time. And I'm like, I remember seeing that in theaters 25 years ago.
I just want to always put that gif of Rose from Titanic where she's like, it's been 82 years for everything.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I feel that
Fighter.
way when it comes to a lot of different ones, though. Like, you know, whenever somebody says like, "Oh, I just watched Blade Runner for the first time," and I'm just like, "Well, first off, I'll sit down. I'm like, let's discuss." But why did you wait so long?
Right.
Have you gradually been trying to watch it throughout the years? Is that because I understand that it's a very slow moving film,
slow build.
But no, if you've just now, like after me recommending it, and I recommend movies weird because, you know, usually somebody's just like, oh, you got to check out this movie because of this, and this. And for me, it's like, you got to see this movie. And they're just like, why? What's so good about it? I'm like, just watch it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And it's more intriguing for them.
Yeah.
Like when I say like for example, we'll use an example, and this is something we've all seen. Old Boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You got to see Old Boy.
Yep.
Why? What's so good about it? Just watch it.
Just gotta watch some Old Boy. That's what has to happen. Yeah.
It's a terrific film.
It's like how I feel about I Saw the Devil. Gotta see I Saw the Devil.
I mean,
like, why? What is in this movie? And I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, arguably, like if I look at my Blu-ray rack up there, I'm just like, Wild Bunch. I'll do the same thing on.
Yeah.
You know, like Videodrome. Another one I'll do that on. Red State. Repo the Genetic Opera, and I'm just like, I just looked at like the first 4 titles, and I'm like, yeah, there's those.
If you hate somebody, you can have them watch Dune.
Oh,
Dune is a terrible fucking movie. I understand why it's important, but holy shit, if you go try to watch it now, it's a fever dream. It doesn't make sense. Like none of
I mean, it's much in the vein of Highlander 2, where it's just like it does not make sense.
Where Jason goes to Manhattan. I'll tell you what, dude.
Arguably, it's a film I enjoy. It's just,
Hey,
I mean,
I enjoy certain parts of that movie with all of my heart. Like whenever he comes out of whenever he like swam off the boat onto the dock, and like he stands up and he goes, and then it shows a big billboard and it's of a hockey mask, and he's like, that's weird, and then like, and then he just like waddles away. Like, why do they have a picture of me up on that billboard?
It must be famous.
Yeah. And then he punches that dude's head off.
Oh yeah, Julius.
So good. So great.
Give me your best shot. All right. Bam.
His head rolls down and hits a dumpster, and then the dumpster lid automatically closes.
Yeah.
Like no one closes it. It's just a perfect. It rolls, the momentum gets it, and then it closes. I was like,
and fucking Julius is throwing everything he's got at him too.
It made me laugh. That scene made me laugh because it's about 4.5 minutes of this guy just punching Jason, and it's a long shot. It's like an Old Boy, the hallway fight scene, but like really anticlimactic, and it's just laughable the longer it goes. Because he's like,
because he gets he just gets so gassed.
Jason just stands there like, but they keep it going. I thought, okay, they're gonna cut any minute now, and it goes for another 3.5 minutes, and I'm like, oh my god. Oh, the poor guy.
Yeah, I mean, and then people will be like, oh, well, Jason X is another really bad one. And I'm just like, have you seen Part 9?
See, and I don't think I've seen Part 9.
You need
I didn't.
If you think, and I've said this before, if you believe the bullshit of 8 is bad, watch Part 9.
Oh, that's so crazy. Oh, but to go back on our second topic, and I feel bad because we were going to discuss this topic last episode, and then it just got like sandbagged under all the other drama that was happening.
All the rest.
Oh, but
we got more drama in the last week to discuss that kind of feeds into this. So
that's true.
Oh,
that's true.
but so there's Marco introduced me into some questionable
50 Shades.
Are we talking to dirty dank groups?
The dank, just the seedy underbelly. So but here's the deal. Okay, so what we're actually talking about. So you'll see a lot online about services that do like sub for sub, or like comment on my video and I'll comment on your video, like that type of stuff. And it's like, that's a little iffy. Like stuff like that's a little iffy. Yeah. But Marco invited me to this Facebook group, and he's like, "No, man, this one's legit." Like, and I was like, "All right."
Yeah.
So he invited me, and it's called YouTube Geeks and Nerds or something like that.
Oh, the same one he invited me to.
That's yeah. And I was like, all right, sure. And then what it is it's people like post their videos, and then what you do is there's like a daily like dump that you can put your video in, and they'll be like, okay, so the rules are you gotta watch, at least pick 3 videos out of the list of replies, watch 3 of them for a minimum of 5 minutes, like it, say something, like comment. And it can't be like, cool video, bro. Like, it has to be something that shows you watched the video. And, like, the moderators check this shit. Like, the admins go and they make sure this account did watch this video and said that. Mm-hmm. Like, so they have, like, pretty much, I would imagine that's kind of a full-time thing. Where you gotta make sure that these people are following these rules. But what it's doing is it's not necessarily sub for sub or like for like. It genuinely is building engagement.
Yeah.
And I think it's honest engagement instead of the weird shady shit, because these are also people making actual content. Yeah. Like, it's not those weird, there's that weird side of YouTube to where people are just playing with like Play-Doh and they have like a weird song in the background, or they have you know what I mean? Like the weird shit.
Wait, I could have done that on YouTube?
Oh yeah. Dude, hundreds of thousands of views. And or they'll do like toys. Yeah, oh my god. Or they'll play with toys and talk about like, my name's Mary Poppins, and it's like a He-Man figure. And you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is going on? Thousands beyond thousands of views, and they have like 47,000 subscribers. And you're like, I can't get 1,000 subscribers, and I'm busting my balls. And
I couldn't get 150.
That dude has He-Man playing Mary Poppins, and he has like Gak in the background making weird fart noises. And this dude's a multimillionaire apparently. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. But this is connecting genuine creative, because like there are 2 or 3 people on there that I was like, this guy's pretty good, this girl's pretty good. Let me actually subscribe to them. And now they make daily content. A lot of them do, if not multiple times a week. So these are people that are taking it serious. And it's like, all right, we're all kind of in that same. We're the small YouTube army or whatever it is. Like we understand how tough the racket is, but like, let's support each other and then kind of slowly boost everyone up a little bit, because then
the video will show a listing.
Yeah. So it'll show on the sidebars of recommended, correlated things. So that way, if somebody's watching Marco's stuff, my video could get like recommended. Because like we network all the time, or like, you know, anything like that makes total sense. That's not being like that. In my opinion, that's the difference between like being the shady shit, and you're just working YouTube at that point. You're just, YouTube gives us these tools. Why don't we embrace my must watch list or favorites or recommendeds, or like why don't we utilize that kind of power to work for us instead of us, you know, trying to do it in a way more difficult way, which is like staying in a vacuum. Like, you know, I want people to know about Marco's content because it's good content, not because like, well, Marco's my boy. Sure, but that only gets you so far. Like, there's that old saying of like, try to pay for a hot dog with exposure. People talk about, well, you're doing it for the love of the craft. And it's like, yeah, that doesn't pay bills. You know, I'm doing it just to, all right, gang.
Yeah.
Like, but at a certain level, you got to start getting a return on your investment. And if that's a return on investment for time, that's pretty much what we're giving up right now. Is we believe in the cause, we're giving up our time and the effort and the energy that hopefully later we are either rewarded not necessarily even with money, but with actual like notoriety. Like people that make it even bigger than us can point to us and say, these guys are the reason why I made it here.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, there you go. I mean, for me, that's about as good as it gets, you know?
And I mean, that touches back to, and I mean, this is the 50th episode, so this may be a bit of a deep dive, but this goes back to one of the early episodes where you talked about basically being a talent scout and wanting to see other people succeed.
Yes, totally.
And being like, it's great when I see somebody who's doing great and they can say, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be doing this. And it's like, that is the greatest bit of flattery to any creator.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of people thrive that way. Like, I like to think that that's what I like to do the most is like the reason why I push myself like on my content is because I know you guys are going to watch it and then be like, oh, Wes is fucking crazy, man. He's doing this other shit. Like, he's doing this next level shit. I gotta, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like a thing about keeping everyone honest. It's like, all right, if I want to be some sort of trailblazer, like, let me do shit that people are like, they'll watch it and they'll be like, I think I like this. Like, they have to think for a minute, like,
They have to think about it.
Do I?
Yeah, it's like,
You need to watch it a few times.
yeah, and then you think about it, and you think about it like a week later, and you're like, shit, that video is pretty good. Let me watch that again. And then you start getting other ideas. Like, I like what he did right there. I like what, like, I don't know, you know, like in music or like a book author, they'll say stuff like, this is an author's author. Or this is a wrestler's wrestler. Like, Dean Malenko is a wrestler's wrestler. Because all the wrestlers fucking love that guy. And they're like, that guy's amazing. He does all these crazy wrist locks. But then you ask fans, and they're like, yeah, Dean Malenko's okay. But, like, all the wrestlers, all the boys are like, dude, Dean Malenko's the fucking best.
It's much like Regal. I mean, Regal's a great example.
Regal is a wrestler's wrestler.
Yeah.
And, you have, like, a musician's musician.
Yeah.
Like, it may not sell a lot, but other musicians buy it, and they're like, oh, this guy's the best that I've ever heard.
It's ahead of his time.
I think that, to me, that's where I want to go, like, as far as that creation stuff. So that might be why it doesn't take off as much. That might be why all of us are, like, it feels like we're struggling, but I think we're doing things that aren't the status quo. Like building a fucking all podcast network on Twitch. Like, what?
I mean, that's like... See, and that's the funny bit, because people would be, you know, if I had talked to non-podcast people about it, they'd be like, are you fucking crazy?
Yeah.
Like why would you do this?
That's ridiculous.
But, you know, look back maybe a year and a half ago. Well, maybe I should do some painting on Twitch.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, they're fucking nuts.
Yeah, that guy's crazy. Yeah. And like, and the perfect thing is like, there's hardly anyone on YouTube that covers mobile games. I still try to search for it. Seriously, try to search it. You see a bunch of fucking phone reviews. You see app reviews. You see the different like gimbals and things you can buy for your phone, and look at these new headsets. But actual phone games, actual in-depth 20-minute quick play, let's take a look at this.
This is an awesome case. It turns into a tripod.
Right, and you can watch a movie. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But to actually, and games on phones are a huge market, a ridiculous market. But no one's doing it.
No.
And I'm like, Margaret, you're ahead of the game, man. What I'm thinking, man, you keep it up and you're growing at that trajectory. Whenever people start cracking wise, like, I could record video game footage of my phone game.
Yeah.
You're already going to be there. And you're going to be up here while they're starting down here. They're going to start looking at you as like, oh, what's that guy doing? What's that? He's been doing it for a long time. What has he been doing? Oh, that's a good idea. Let me try that. And like, that's what happens. Because I don't think people like Soda Pop and people like Lyric got where they are because of their talent. I think they got where they got because they were first. And like, real talk, I think they did that trend back when it was just in TV. They were playing video games on the real live streaming service, right? On like live stream. They were doing shit on ustream.com and livestream.com before there was even Justin TV to turn into Twitch TV. They were playing video games then. They were the first to do it. And yeah, I think they got so popular and big because they were the first, and everyone started looking at them like, well, if they could do it, I could do it. And then you start getting that second tier worth of people and the third tier worth of people.
Yeah.
You know, and I think
by the time it gets to the fourth tier, they're just like, we know everything that they've done, and we know how to game the system now.
Bingo. Yeah. Then you have the fucking Logan Pauls of the world. But yeah, like that's what's so exciting about being part of something like the Precipice Podcast, because I could see this being kind of the stem and like where, and like even turning the whole thing into, and you know, back during the Twitch times, and you talk about the Hobo Network and like, oh, we're gonna get a network of people together and we're gonna bring them together, but then at the end it was just basically referral links. I mean, whenever you look at kind of what it really was, it was like we're just gonna, everyone in the network is gonna link to everyone else in the network. So that way we kind of have this, you know, infrastructure that like goes in on itself.
And I remember those days. I mean, I've been a part of a few little groups and such, and that's usually the way it works. Yeah. But then you also have channels like, and I'll take the one Maury streams on every now and then, Stack Up, where they have, where it's, you have all these streamers streaming on the one channel, getting their exposure that way, and then, you know, not only that, but also helping out a good charity. So
absolutely, and that's the way to do it. You'll even see it with like the NVIDIA, the official NVIDIA channel. They sponsor 20 or 30 streamers, and then they each have a 2-hour block within the week that they stream on NVIDIA. I think, and then you have on the flip side, which is sort of similar but in a different take of it, you have places like Streamer House, which is a 24-hour channel. The channel's been on for something like 3.5 years. Like, it's never gone offline. And the reason why is everyone has a 4-hour shift, but all of these people, it's like a frat house. Everybody lives in the same house. So what you do is, like, Marco, you would take the 8 to noon shift. And then at noon, you would tag me in, and I would do my noon to 4 shift. But we would just basically hand off the stuff and then play different games. Like, oh, here's the headset, brother. Yeah, oh, chat's going good. Here you go. And then, like, live, you would just swap it, and then you're good to go. Now you have 4 hours of a different streamer. Then they pass off the headset, and it's all in the same setup, all in the same room. It's a pretty unique way to do it. It's weird. Like, it still kind of blows my mind, but they haven't been offline in, like, 3.5, 4 years, I think. Like, they've been consistent. Minus
a small, like, internet hiccup or something of that sort.
The deal, like, dropping it down that way. But yeah, they have the Guinness World Record right now for the longest stream, and it's something like 525 consecutive days. Like, just pure, and that's a lot.
They're trying to beat Demolition's record.
So Margo, I'm glad that you showed me that deal, the YouTube Geeks and Nerds thing, because it was almost like a light at the end of the tunnel. Because it's like they even took the crappy shit of like sub for sub, and they adapted it to a thing that made sense. You know, we're talking about taking ideas and adapting them. These groups, the genuine groups, are truly networking groups. It's not, there's nothing. The only reason I even joined up on it is because you invited me, and I joined up probably 2 or 3 months ago. But what I would do is every other day or so, I'd go on Facebook and look at what the group was doing. And I was like, okay, if I start seeing some shady shit, I'm not doing this.
I'll give it a couple months before I engage.
Probationary period. And then, but then I started seeing it. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And it was great because the moment I posted mine, I guess so, Marco, you're like a moderator or something on the group?
No. So like lately I'm in charge of 2 days, maybe 3 or 4 if the main poster is not able to do it. Yeah. So I have all the days pictures saved, and then I can just copy paste the thing. That's pretty much where my role is at now.
Oh, that's cool. So the moment I post mine, like, hey guys, I'm new here. Here's my video. And then Marco's like, "Oh, you got on the dirty,
No!
like immediately." I was like, "Oh God!"
Watch this guy's videos right now. Do it.
It
He's
was
my
great.
boy. Let's go.
Oh, it was hilarious.
Actions in.
He was like, "Oh yeah," like in big letters.
Today's a special day. You must only watch 2 videos and this one.
And here it is, right there. Oh, and it's funny because I'm gonna give you guys both a spoiler, and all of you watching at home a spoiler. So that new Kamilog, I actually picked up another game, but the game I picked up was actually I was thinking of Marco this time, his brother. We're gonna be playing some Yakuza, son. That's what we're gonna be playing. That's it, dude. It's going on Twitch. Man. I might do that shit tomorrow.
Make sure you do that bowling side quest mission to get the chicken. You have to. You got to get good at bowling. Get it.
So good. I gotta get it.
I mean, I remember Yakuza on the PS2 originally.
Yes, yeah.
I remember playing the hell out of that, and I am really contemplating whether or not at some point I should end up finding a way to get a PS4 so I can play the Yakuza games again.
Do it. Absolutely.
I mean,
because here's the thing. Kiwami, like the one I got right here, like I got a slick deal, and it's like the Steelbook edition, so it has that sick like
that's the replay of 1. I'm sorry,
yes.
I thought that was 0.
Oh yeah, but cool. That's my next one on the list, and then Yakuza 6. So Yakuza Kiwami is actually a remake of the first Yakuza on PS2.
Which was terrific.
Yes. So that's the best way to get in, is this is using the Yakuza 0 and the Yakuza 6 engine, and it redoes and it adds some stuff, and it has that, what is it, Majima Anywhere?
Yeah.
Where he just shows up in random like places. But yeah, so you could basically play, let's see, because I think you could even on the PlayStation Now live stream service get Yakuza 3 like streaming. Yeah, I think you can play a majority, all but maybe Yakuza 2. But maybe even that
2 is on PS2, 1 and 2 are on PS2, 3, Yakuza 4, 3. And 5.
Yeah.
Well, 5, 5 is on PS3, so you should be able to get it on Now.
Yeah, and I think 3, 4, and 5 are on PlayStation Now. I want to say Yakuza 1 was this remade, but then Yakuza 2 might be the only one that you can't get digitally. I need to check that.
Yeah, but they're making a Kiwami 2, so it's going to be
sick.
Another remake of like that one. So
of the number 2. Oh, that's awesome.
Right now I'm just looking at it. It's just like recent additions, and it's like an NBA game, Yakuza 5, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, what is it? The new additions: NBA 2K16, Yakuza 5, Yakuza 4.
Yep.
Some other game, Payday, and Dirt Rally, and it's like, what?
Like Mark and I talked about this way back in the day, and I think we actually got our first like comments on YouTube or somewhere on it that like yelled at us. Is we said that Yakuza is what happened if Shenmue was good.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me take the flack on this. I completely agree.
Yeah. And I mean, Shenmue did what it did, and it did a lot like the time stuff and the NPCs having their own schedules and whatnot. But like that game, going back now, it's not a joy to go play again.
Yeah.
But you can go play the hell out of Yakuza 1. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
That game aged like perfectly. Like I'm bummed that our Power Hour got pulled from YouTube because we did a full-on Yakuza 1 Power Hour, and it went for like almost 2 hours. And it was great. And then
it was a double shot.
Yeah, and like they pulled it for whatever reason. Like one of the few videos, that and my Tenchu Power Hour, that one that we did, YouTube deleted them, like took them. That was the only videos I've ever had to where YouTube stepped in and was like, nope.
No.
Yeah, and I don't know. It was like, I don't know if it was a copyright thing or like what was going on with it.
Yeah, but was that on Sega's part? That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, it might be. And then because I think Sega also owned part of Tenchu or something. Like it's a weird deal. So literally took it and was like, nope. Not even WWE did that. We did play WWF Attitude. Had an awesome fun Power Hour. That thing is hilarious. and WWE stepped in and said we couldn't publish it. Like,
yeah,
it was
weird.
published, and then they stripped it, and it was a copyright claim, but it's still on my channel. Like, I can go watch it on the editor's side. I can go play that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if now I could, like, re-up it as something else, and then it wouldn't get flagged. Give us a long-lost Power Hour episode.
There you go.
Like an archive
That'd be
thing.
interesting.
That'd be fun. So I'll dig in. I'll dig in and see what I can do. But yeah, just weird stuff on the YouTube front. But yeah, the Yakuza episode was the only thing that ever got pulled. I bet they will be cooler about it because of how well all of this funny, like, social network Yakuza internet stuff is going. I bet they'll be more lenient now. So here's hoping.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the PlayStation Now games, and the only 2 Yakuza games on the service are 4 and 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 3, yeah. Do you have a PS3, Todd?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I had a choice between that and the Xbox, and all my friends were playing on Xbox. So,
well, yeah, I mean, and that's.
fair. At that point, you're just like, where do I go?
Yeah. Exactly.
Which is the great dilemma. Like, when it comes down to playing games, like, what are you going to get? Are you going to get this one or that one? Well, where are my friends?
Yes,
where are the games I want to play?
Totally.
I mean, up until Yakuza, I was not interested in the PS4, and now I'm just like,
yeah, man.
I mean,
and there's some hot hits coming down the pipe, man. Because that's what I'm getting on a big kick. Is like, okay, I have all these PC games and they're on Steam and good old games and all this, and I love having a huge digital library. I love it. But it's also like, I have all these shelves back here. You know, I want to start filling in that stuff and building an actual library. Got a lot of retro games, which is cool. But, like, I own a PS4. I love playing my PS4. But I don't really have games that aren't on disc for it. Like, they're all digital stuff. So I was like, well, let's start buying, you know, Last of Us. Let's buy the Final Fantasy 12 Zodiac Age. Let's buy Yakuza. I even got a few more games for it, like Uncharted 4. Like physical disc games, and I was like, shit, that way if they pull the plug on the servers, I can still play them. Yeah. Because now I own them. And that's, for some reason, that's been taken hold. I've been like, well, let me get the physical fucking game. Like, let me hold the game. Because if I have a game console, I might as well just buy those games, and then anything PC, just get it digitally.
True.
Like, that makes sense.
I would, personally, I understand it's a whole Sony Sega deal on that, but I would have fucking loved to see the Yakuza games on PC.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah. I'm surprised they're not, because Sega's been doing gangbusters on PC. Sega's been putting all kinds of shit on PC lately,
especially older titles.
Yeah, the Dreamcast collections, and I mean,
they did Bayonetta? They put that on there, and that blew me away.
Yeah, and the only reason 2 and 3 aren't on there is because those are owned by Nintendo.
Yeah.
So, but that's it. Like, Sega would love to put them on there. Like, Sega put Vanquish on there, which is a great game. Yeah. A lot of just big moves that they're pulling. And even, like, Sonic games are day one on PC now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess it is such an exclusive deal with Sony. Like, Sony pays premium money for the Yakuza rights. It has to be.
And and I would honestly, if they were to say, hey, listen, like, even if they were to go and say, oh, we're going to release Yakuza 1, like, not the remaster, right? The original,
just Yakuza 1, yeah,
on PC, day one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Day one, that'd be getting streamed. I would just be sitting there playing pachinko and all the other little fun mini games.
It's so crazy how good everything about that game is. Like, the combat got better over time. Like, as the series progressed, the combat got more slick, and they had more combo moves and, like, the, what do they call it? The action
heat moves.
Heat moves. That's it. So all the heat moves are kind of crazier, but the blueprint is there. Like, they got it the first time out the gate, and it's amazing how much content is in that game. Like, I'm convinced that even the first game, definitely Yakuza 2, but definitely the first Yakuza, pushed the PS2
Oh, absolutely.
Almost to a breaking point. Like, there is slowdown in that game. they were so far ahead of the curve, which reminds me of another freaking remake that came out on PS4, which is Shadow of the Colossus, which I'm about to shell out $40 for it because I was like, oh, 60 frames a second and the controls actually fucking work? Yeah, I'll replay that game in a heartbeat.
Right. Yeah.
This will be how many copies of this game you now have?
Oh my god! So I got the original. I got a greatest hits version. I got the PS3 remaster on disc and digital. So yeah, it'd be the fourth or fifth time I owned it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and then I'd play it and beat it again, and just cry at the end, like, games are art. But man, I'll tell you what they need to do, because Shadow of the Colossus, one of the best games on the PS2, and then the other actual best game, no question, Final Destination, whatever you want to call it, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. They need to do one of these for fucking just that one game. I have all the HD remat, whatever. Make me one of these. Make me a Twin Snakes version of Metal Gear Solid 3. And then I'll be like, you know what? That's the only video game console I ever need. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I mean, they did do that, like that Metal Gear collection or whatever,
yeah, which was good, and like the HD collection on PS3, and then they had like Peace Walker was on there too, the PSP game, which I loved. It's like the actual sequel to Metal Gear Solid 3. Loved Peace Walker, and then no one really bought it because there was Portable Ops, which really nobody bought, but I loved it. And then Portable Ops made the way for Peace Walker because the whole, I'm going to put the parachute on the back of a guy and put him up, and he's going to be in my gang, and then I'm going to grow the soldiers. And then they took that exact same thing for Metal Gear Solid 5. And I was like, oh, that's great. They're making a streamlined version of Peace Walker. This is awesome. But then I played for about 20 hours, and I was like, yeah, I already did this in Peace Walker. So that was about it. But yeah, man, basically.
And I'm not even the guy.
Yeah, I'm sort of the guy. Maybe. They say I am. I don't know if I am.
Yeah, but the thing is, does 5 have like a good solid 5-minute ladder climb? I mean,
with a song building in the background.
Yeah, like, right.
In a world, or like I can't remember how Snake Eater goes. That and then you start like climbing up. Oh,
it's one of the few things I remember from that game is that fucking ladder climb.
So funny. It's like a classic moment. I remember way too much about that game. Like I could write you a thesis about that stupid ass game. But I think it's the best standalone Metal Gear Solid. Like if you were to play one game in that whole series, I would say Metal Gear Solid 3. Yeah. Without question. Because
I can understand that.
It has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you don't have to know about shit else that happens in that series. Like it has a full-on narrative by itself. And I appreciate games. That's kind of why I actually bought Kiwami. Is like I remember how good the first Yakuza was, even as a standalone game. Yeah. And then they announced Yakuza 2, and I freaked out. I was like, they're making another one? Like I had no idea that that's how successful it was.
The only problem I see with the Yakuza games is it just takes so fucking long for them to be localized.
Yeah.
And that's always been the issue.
Now is kind of the best time.
Not so much of a problem either. Now it's not so much of a problem because they're successful, so they're going to get more money to be able to get that out faster.
Mm-hmm.
They can pay more people. So now it's kind of a perfect time to jump into the series because you have like 6 games to play. You know, so by the time you get done with those 6 games, and that doesn't even count. What was the one?
The samurai ones. They have samurai ones too.
The samurai ones, and like Dead Souls.
And Dead Souls, yeah.
Where you just fight zombies.
Standalone zombies, yeah. That's the only time you can. Well, beyond the Kiwami and Zero, was the only time you can only be playing Majima.
Oh yeah. Like it's funny because every time I think about Yakuza, or every time I have Yakuza, I think of Marco. Because one of the first times we ever talked. You were like, oh, I worked as a QA guy on the first Yakuza. And I was like, fucking what? Like, you crazy? And then, so, like, regaling the tales about working at Sega. But then there was another game, and I was like, man, please tell me there's this game for 360. And I loved it to death, and no one else knew about it. And it was called Chrome Hounds. And then Mark was like, I fucking did Chrome Hounds. And I was like, what? Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, heck yeah, man.
I mean, your reaction to like him saying like, yeah, I worked on QA for Yakuza. When you told Marco did that same thing to me one time. It's just because we were talking about Yakuza, and it's like such a great fucking game. You do realize that I worked in QA on that? I'm like, what?
You like slam your hands down on the desk, like, like, get me those pictures of Spider-Man. Like that's the sort of like you like spit take like. What? Because I mean, dude, those are huge games. Those are like
it's not even a spit take. It's the whole like. Say it again.
Yeah. I get spit on twice.
Well, no, the first time I don't have a drink. The second time I do. You're just like, no, I'm not going to say it because you're going to spit all over me. I'm like, I promise not to spit on you.
But like that is crazy. Like. If I just had that on my resume, that I was part of QA on fucking Yakuza, like Yakuza, I'm convinced saved Sega's ass because Sonic was going through some dumb shit. Even now, Sonic's going through some dumb shit. So they couldn't really rely on Sonic, so they had to get something else, something unique, something truly Sega. Yakuza's it, man.
Yeah,
like it's the hotness, and it has been the hotness for a long time for the people that knew about it.
What is it? Six has some big names attached to it too. So.
Yeah.
we got what?
Brothers.
We got what?
Oh yeah.
Takeshi Kitano. We got Okada. Yano.
You got Naito, and Naito actually does his like he does the low stuff. It's great.
Oh, it's fucking great.
I think Seven will do the same thing, but it's like a bunch of the legends. Like I think the Great Muda is one of the. It's 7 though, not 6. 7. Muda, and then like I think Chono is also in that too.
They gotta have Nagata. They gotta have Nagata.
Oh, yeah. You're gonna see some legends.
They're gonna be.
I think you can look it up right now.
Holy
you can look
shit.
it up right now, like wrestlers in Yakuza 7, and I think they'll show up.
Oh my god, that like flips the script, dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yakuza was a growing boy. Like it didn't off to the races when it first started, and it was, if you liked it back then, like in PS1, Yakuza 1 and 2, it was very much like a cult following sort of thing. And then
it really was.
4 and 5 blew up.
Yeah, because I know 3 did pretty well. Like Yakuza 3, because that was really that was the one where they put a lot of like marketing behind it, because I remember seeing like magazine advertisements for Yakuza 3.
Or it was actually 3 was a battle to get it over to the US.
Yes, yeah.
Over to the US. 4 kind of put it on the map, and then 5.
That's right.
After that, and then
you're absolutely right, because that was one of those that like it was crowdfunding before crowdfunding was a thing. Like they're like, oh no, Yakuza 3's been out in Japan for a year, and they're like, please bring it to America. Well, we don't know if a lot of people want it. So then there were like emails like slamming this. And then it was a huge announcement when they were like, yeah, we're going to bring it over. And then, people lost their minds. And that's such an interesting series. Like, shit, I might want to do like a West versus Backlog just on the Yakuza games, and like do kind of the history lesson style. Because I'm just interested to know all those intricacies about that type of stuff.
So it is not going to be Yakuza 7. They're going to be in Kiwami 2.
Kiwami 2? Okay, all right.
Whoa.
Okay. Kiwami 2. Okay, gotcha. Because it's still a clan battle thing, but I was thinking for whatever reason it was 7. But okay, Kiwami 2.
Kenji Muto, Masahiro Chono, Tasumi Fujinami.
Yeah. Shit.
Choshu, and Tenryu.
Yeah.
Okay, Tenryu ain't no joke, dude. Tenryu is great. He's like he has that old grizzled vet face, and like there's always the ones I think we always like and favorite and like retweet them. But whenever people go up and like bow to him, and he just slaps him in the face, like during all the pay-per-views, they're like, "Oh, hello, sir," and he's like, "Get the fuck out of my face!" This old guy just slaps the shit out of him. Oh, Tenryu's fantastic.
Cool. Yeah, man.
Oh, that's so wicked. And the cool thing about Kiwami actually came out at a discount. Like normal, brand new games are $60. Kiwami came out at 30. Like brand new factory sealed, it was $30. I bet Kiwami 2 is going to do the same thing. Because they're considered remakes, and like it's just smart to do it that way. Yeah, dude, and I got this one, and I talk about it in the Commie Log. I got this for $14. Factory sealed, brand freaking new at Best Buy. And I was awesome. Like, oh my God.
And steelbook.
Yes, yeah, total steelbook. It has like beautiful like the art and everything on it, but yeah, that art is sick. And I was like, yeah, man. Steelbook limited edition for $14. Yes, please. The Dragon of Dojima is reborn.
There you go.
I mean, was it two things I remember very vividly from the first Yakuza was getting your tattoo redone, which was a key story point.
Yeah.
And then the other one was spending the equivalent of a week in a hostess bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
winning all the hearts, man.
Yeah,
because that's the deal. Is the whole story about this. It's just a good classic.
Yeah,
like the old.
And I mean, you can play the story great, but there's just so much other shit to do. Yeah.
So Imran Khan, guy from Game Informer now, he had an issue with the Yakuza series because he liked the sub stories more so than the actual stories.
Right.
So he was struggling with that. And I would say, like, as you play the game, go through those sub stories because, sub stories would take over me. It took over my attention rather than the main story. Like it's so fleshed out. There's so much of a personality outside of the main story that you just get immersed in. That's why.
I remember watching because like you will stream. What Yakuza is it? Is it Yakuza 3, 4?
I streamed 2 to its entirety, and then I streamed a little bit of 5 in the beginning.
5, okay. So what I remember the most, and it was some of the most endearing stuff in the world, because I was in your chat, and you had probably about 10, 11, 12 viewers, and like you were doing the taxi races down the highway, and chat was going nuts because there's this like sub character of a young taxi driver, and then you're like, I will show you the meaning of racing.
It's Kiryu, the hero of Yakuza, as a taxi driver, and he's racing people in the freeway.
And it's so good. And the thing is, it's like then the young kid that's like looking up to him like, I wish to have the need for speed just like you, sir. And he was like, one day you will, son. And like you get in the car and you like ram over the police. It's just the dumbest shit. Oh, it makes me laugh.
The Drift Kings and all that stuff.
And then people in chat were like, what game is this? And they're like, what are you doing?
Exactly. It's not a so much straightforward action game.
And then you played the wingman. I remember that you were with your boy, and your boy, I can't remember, he was like drunk or something. And you were playing a wingman for him. And you were sitting there, and you were like this, and he was trying so nice to like talk to...
Trying to get the girls. That's not what you say. Yeah. Like, it's oh man.
I'm so glad I bought this game. Like I'm gonna laugh so hard until I cry. Whenever I start playing it.
Minute 1 to forward, just get all that footage
for
your video. Whatever you're gonna do with it, man.
It's so genius. Oh man. Like there's no other game on the planet that does that type of shit. There's not one. But then apparently, and like listening to the Game of the Year podcasts and stuff from like Giant Bomb and IGN and stuff for this past year, you had a lot of people saying Yakuza 0. They're like, Yakuza 0 is on another level. And people are like, oh, that game's goofy. And they're like, kind of, but there's some shit that happens in that game that you feel like heart-wrenching about it. And you're like, oh my God. And I was like, God, that sounds so good. I did see the one screen cap, and I think it's Majima. And he's there, and like his line is, I would rather lose an eye to bow to you, or something. Like, I would rather lose my eye than bow to you. Line. And then you're like, oh, because the rest of the series, he has this big fucking eye patch, and you're like, welp. That didn't go well. But God, the series is just classic. Oh, it's so good.
Why have a release date for Kiwami 2? Or even an idea on when it's coming out?
Oh yeah. There's no a tentative like release date for US right now. It's just we're making it. It's gonna happen. That's all.
I mean,
that's all
the game's
right
out
now.
in Japan already.
Yeah, it is out in Japan already.
It's out in Japan. They're just like, as of right now, we have no plans to localize it for North America. And it's like, what?
Come on. Yeah. They got it, man. Oh,
they'll
have to.
They'll eventually will.
Yeah, they will.
I mean, this is the problem, though. Like, they drag their ass on this. I mean, it's...
Yeah. I mean, it's selling well, man. That's what's so weird about Sega. And Sega's been notorious for that forever. Yeah. They don't realize the good thing they got until they're like, oh, wait, people like this? And then they try to, like, rush 80 of them out. And then, like, the same shit happened with Phantasy Star. I could put it down, quote it, timestamp it, whatever you got to say. Look, in the next decade, there will be a huge revival of Phantasy Star. They're going to do a full-on... Because they fucked up Phantasy Star Online 2. That should have been out in America.
Okay. People are waiting for 2.
We're waiting for 2, and they should have had that shit done 6 years ago. Because it was done 6 years ago. It's in Japan already. Like, they just needed... And the translation, I think, was done. They were just like, we don't need to release it. And they didn't. And you're like, whoa, what? Come on.
Yeah.
But I bet it's going to be one of those things that they're going to let it just die down. What they could do, and what would be genius, and I would openly weep, is they're like, how about Phantasy Star Online, the Dreamcast game, remastered on Steam with online?
Kiwami.
Yeah, they pull Kiwami on fucking Phantasy Star Online. Oh my God, people would riot. Because that's incredible. Phantasy Star Online's genius. It's a genius game, and it's one of the first, it's actually, I think, the first massively multiplayer or like instance-based dungeon crawl on consoles. Because it was on Dreamcast, and it used SegaNet. And it did all that shit well before it got popular.
Before online gaming was a thing.
Yeah, I mean, you still had dial-up. It was so ahead of the curve, man. I don't know. Just, Sega's weird about that stuff. I used to give Nintendo a lot of shit, but like, I'm convinced Nintendo's on a higher plane of existence now. Like, they don't give a shit what's happened in the video game industry. They don't care. They're just going to keep... They just keep... Yeah, here's some cardboard, wear a backpack, and fight a dragon, and who gives a shit? Like, just come on, man.
I did not know that the first 2 Yakuza games were released on the Wii U in Japan.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Huh. Also, the average time between Japanese and North American release on the Yakuza games is, on average, about 2 years. So...
Oh, yeah, cool.
I mean, was it, I think 3 was the, 3 was, it was a 3-year gap.
Battle to get it over.
Yeah. 5 was a 3-year gap. The first one was only a year, but then it's just like, all the rest of them are like 2 years. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Why you do this?
Yeah.
One is unique because it has all the U.S. like celebrity voice actors. Like, Elijah Dushku was a character, and then Michael Madsen was Shimano's. You get some actual celebrities.
And I mean, I would be fine with it just subtitled.
I would too.
Yeah,
they should have done that.
Yeah, sure.
Save on time. Shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn it.
I'm fine reading subtitles.
Yeah, especially because their voice actors, like native Japanese voice actors, just sound so like triad movie, like Yakuza movie. You watch the old Beat Takeshi films. You watch those old just awesome gang films. Like you watch what was it, Election? Election, and then Re-Election is the name of the sequel. This awesome, cool, like early 90s, late 80s, just the camera was just in a Japanese restaurant, and like these guys in big suits come in and they're like they just talk with that guttural. Oh, it's so rad. That whole genre of films, like freaking Chow Yun Fat and this, incredible, super good. Oh no, I think something froze. I think some of the episode froze. Oh my goodness. If so, you know what? I'm gonna keep going. But those movies are incredible. Hope you guys enjoyed episode number 50 of Brothering Around. Oh, there it is. Drop the call, I guess. So we're still going. I'm still here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out on episode number 50 of Brothering Around. Cut it off a little short, but hey, we're so excited to be part of the Precipice Podcast Network. So excited to be there. So much fun. So cool. Big things coming. So stay tuned to the Precipice Podcast Network. Go to twitch.tv/Precipice Podcast. Go get that going. And also, you know where to find us. Go find us on YouTube for that video archive. Go find us on iTunes. Go find us on all of these different places. We got Stitcher, we got Google Play, we got iTunes, we got here at comedyhobo.com. You know where to go. But for myself, for Marco Flores, Mr. Nerd in the Bay, and for Todd EVF, and of course Maury, who couldn't make it today. But from all of us, we appreciate you. If this is your first episode, thank you so much. Hope you stick around and listen to some more. We'd love to hear from you. Give us some comments. But yeah, until then, we'll see you guys later.